What's up, guys and gals? It's Edvin here. Welcome back to another Edvin's Evaluation, where I give the evaluations to follow. Today, we are protecting the planet from aliens who are annihilating us all. If you know the intro, you know that today we are talking about my life as a teenage robot. Before we get into the robotic nuts and bolts of this show, let's go over how this show was made and when it was created. My Life as a Teenage Robot was released on August 1st, 2003, and lasted until September 9th, 2005. It was aired on Nickelodeon and later Nicktoons. It was created by Rob Renzetti, who also made Mina and the Count in 1995. No, I haven't seen Mina and the Count, but I figured to say what else he made, just in case if someone knows it. Now that we have gotten that out of the way, it's time to go over the pilot, which was first shown on December 4th, 1999, almost a whole 4 years before the series was even picked up by Nickelodeon. This pilot was aired on the Oh Yeah cartoons as one of the short segments. The pilot is called My Neighbor Was a Teenage Robot, and follows a pretty identical plot to It Came From Next Door, aside from obviously the animation. Real quick, let me do a quick evaluation of the short 7-minute pilot. Voice acting was decent, but not as good as the normal show. The animation / look for its time isn't horrible, but not as good as it could be. Creativity is really good, based on the design and just how well it worked. Story was super basic and a bit bland. Can't say much from Oh Yeah, though. Characters are basically the same as the main show. Finally, the music wasn't great, but it wasn't all that bad. Just basic music for the most part. It would land at 5 out of 10 on this bar. Phew, that was a fast minute there. Yet finally we're ready to move on to the main show. Let's start with the voice acting, which is honestly amazing. Janice Coyne, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, the voice of Jenny / XJ9 is perfect, along with Candy Milo, the voice of Dr. Nora Wakeman. Both were casted perfectly and slid right into their roles. I believe the voice actor of Brad changed, but Chad Dorek was a bit better than Melissa Denton. The only voice I really hated from the main cast was Tucker, but that's just because he's annoying. Yet he's a kid character, so it worked. Audrey Wesolowski played Tuck really well. I'm hoping I said all that right.
Don't even think about it, Tucker. Come on, Chad. Those scrappy bullies would be no match for you. Absolutely not. Please. No. Please. No. Please. No. Please. No. Please. No. Please. No. Please. Okay. Yes!
Onto the look for its time. And honestly, it looks unique and different. It works in its favor in the best ways. From the interesting character designs to the colors used in the background and the foreground, it all blended together to make an amazing looking show. It also looked 10 times better than the pilot, so there's that. Moving on to the creativity, and for what it is, it's honestly great. It's a mix of teenage comedy with the action of a superhero show. And unlike most superhero shows, she doesn't need to hide it, and can't really hide it. There are a couple episodes that show she wants to be a normal girl, though, which brings me right into storytelling, which in this show is pretty basic, yet it isn't horrible, just not great. It's simple, which is fine for a kid's show, yet there was no real start or end to the story, which honestly ruined any good chance of storytelling. The most storytelling we get is a couple of callbacks and two-part episodes, like for example the Exoskin and XJs 1 through 8. Speaking of that, we're on to the characters of this show, and there's a lot. Let's go over the four main characters first. Jenny, or XJ9, Dr. Nora Wakeman, Brad Carbuncle, and Tucker Carbuncle. All these are the four main characters you'll see in the episodes. These characters are a perfect setup. Jenny being a teenager along with Brad both have a similar but also completely different personalities. Nora is a stick in the mud sometimes but cares about Jenny. Tucker is annoying, overbearing, and can be too enthusiastic, which is perfect for a kid, but makes me hate him. Yet outside of the main four characters we have plentiful side characters, with varying degrees of personality and importance to everything in the show. There's Sheldon Lee, a kid who has a major crush on Jenny. He's like the creepy kid next door, but I feel bad for him sometimes, with how much he's just seen as the creepy kid. Then there's Tiff and Britt Crust, who are just bullying stereotypes of goth and popular girl. Kind of boring characters that I will roll my eyes at. Another character to bring up is Vexus. She is the main villain of the show. Very important, and I will not spoil anything else about her, but she is important to the show. Along with XJs 1 through 8, I will not spoil anything about these ones as they are a good handful of episodes, but I do enjoy them as characters. My favorite characters have to be Jenny and Sheldon. No, I don't ship them together, but I do enjoy both of them for different reasons. We have officially reached music, which honestly is almost perfect. The intro and background music are really greatly made. Peter Learn, I hope I said that right, composed the intro or theme song of the show. James L. Venable and Paul Dinleader, I hope I said that right, composed background music and other things for the show. All three of them are really good at making music. Heck, Peter Lear composed the Magic School Bus theme song. Finally, we are at the last portion of my TV show evaluations. What are my favorite and least favorite episodes? Considering the fact that the show ran for 3 seasons, I'm going to go over my top 3 favorites and my bottom 3 least favorites. My top 3 favorite episodes are A Robot for All Seasons, Love or Molisham, and Escape from Cluster Prime. A Robot for All Seasons is a Christmas-based 22-minute episode in Season 2, where Jenny gets controlled by this little bastard of a child named Todd Sweeney. This kid controls Jenny and makes her destroy the holiday for all of Tremerton. When Jenny gets out of control from this kid, she wakes up and sees the entire town is against her. Aside from Sheldon, obviously. She needs to put a stop to Todd's acting exploits once and for all. This episode, while being a Christmas episode, doesn't feel like one. It feels more like an Amnesia episode, which I usually really hate. But I didn't mind it here. Love and Marlesham is a normal episode in Season 2, where Dr. Wakeman's rival, Dr. Mogg, makes a male robot named Kenny to rival Jenny. Yet Jenny and Kenny are starting to fall in love. Throughout the episode, Kenny shows some dog-like tendencies while Sheldon gets jealous of the new couple. This episode is very simplistic and very funny to me. I love Kenny as a character and I wish we could see him more after this episode, yet I don't remember him coming back at all. Escape from Cluster Prime is a 45-minute special at the end of the season. Damn it all. Escape from Cluster Prime is a 45-minute special at the end of Season 2, where Jenny finds herself on Cluster Prime after a scuffle with Vexus. She needs to obviously find a way to escape, as the title suggests. I didn't want to say much about this episode, as it is, in my opinion, the best episode of the show. The other 2 of these top 3 are interchangeable, but Escape from Cluster Prime is such an amazing episode that I don't want to spoil, so I recommend you check it out if you can. Moving on to the bottom 3 less favorite episodes. We have Dressed to Kill, Victim of Fashion, and Turncoats. Dressed to Kill is a Season 1 episode. It has the Crust Cousins get some pip crystals from some idiotic cluster troops. The Crust Cousins use the pip crystals for their new style and gain powers from it. They flaunt the powers in front of Jenny, while Jenny tries to stop them by using her fashion sense. This episode is just bland and boring as all hell to me. I already don't like the Crust Cousins, as they are not even that good of characters, but then it's a full episode of just them, makes it 10 times worse. Victim of Fashion is a Season 2 22-minute special. It has the Crust Cousins again. The Crust Cousins call Jenny fat, and this causes her to get self-conscious and has Sheldon strip her body down to make her skinny. Yet this is at the cost of her weapons. This episode is worse than the last one, as it's a 22-minute special with the worst made characters of the show. Well, yes, I get the fact that bullying is bad and Jenny doesn't deserve to be bullied, but we really didn't need this episode. Honestly, if this episode was just a normal length segment of an episode, it wouldn't be nearly as bad or feel nearly as boring. Turncoats is the last episode of the series, a Season 3 episode which sees XJ 1 through 8 go haywire and attack Jenny and Dr. Wakeman. Wait, that's it? That's the final episode. That's just that. It feels like just a normal episode. Yes, the show was canceled before it even had a real finale, which sucks. Yeah, I wish it could have ended on something a little better. This episode was just so simple and boring. It's the robots turn evil premise. I legit can't tell you anything about this episode other than the ending, which sees Jenny and Dr. Wakeman fixing XJs 1 through 8, which would be fine if it wasn't the end of the show. Just whatever. Let's get this over with. As I was just talking about a second ago, My Life as a Teenage Robot was cut halfway through production of Season 3, leaving the season and show unfinished. Now, on one hand, I feel horrible and I wish this show got another season or at least got to end off on a bang and not a whimper, but this is what we got. If you want my opinion, just watch the first 2 seasons, skip Season 3. Finally, we've reached the last part of the evaluation. Out of these 5 cards, the show is meh. Now, before I get anyone hating me, I will say I love the idea of the show. I love most of the characters, and I love a couple of the episodes in the show. Yet I can't bring myself to give it higher than Season 1 was pretty slow and basic, even for the start of a show. Season 2 was the best season, and Season 3 sucked ass. I know there's a fan base behind the show, and honestly, I'll stand with the fan base. The show is pretty good, but Season 3 really ruins it for me. It needed a complete season, but sadly, Nickelodeon cut the show short. If it makes you guys feel any better, it hurts for me to give this show a middle ground rating. As I loved this show growing up, and I still love this show now, yet I can't deny the faults that the show really had. Before I sign out, I want to tell you guys that I recommend this show for anyone between the ages of 7 and 20 or so. But it could go higher if there's a nostalgia factor to it. You hate to see it happen, but you can't stop it. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you'll return for the next one. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, tell me what show, movie, or cartoon you want to see me cover next. Until then, I'm logging off. But I'm just kidding. But only for a second longer. Thank you all for your support on my last video, and thank you for 21 subs. I really appreciate it. Now I am logging off.